Modern women feel unlovable and alone. Validation is a powerful word, isn't it? Think of how many women feel like they're not women due to a lack of validation. You know, a lot of women are shamed for not having a man, shamed for not being married at a certain age, shamed for being too independent, working too hard and not having space in her life to give room to a man, basically. Have space to let a man into her life. Whether it be trauma from her ex-boyfriends, trauma from her parents, trauma from her friends as well. Yeah, let's not forget about the backstabby girly pops. Yeah, either way, there are many reasons now why a lot of women don't have a man, they can't find and keep one, and in many cases they don't want one. However, on a whole, a lot of women feel like they're unlovable nowadays, and in feeling unlovable, a lot of them feel alone, like spinsters of the past, and sadly, the only thread they have to weave are lies.
There is a collective trauma happening right now amongst a generation of single women.
Okay.
And believe you me, the impacts of this are bigger than we could comprehend. So I'm talking about the female experience here. I'm aware that on the other side with men, there's stuff going on too. Right now, for very complex reasons, women feel incredibly unlovable, used, violated, and mistrusting. And believe you me, it is not good for any of us when this is happening collectively. Not first, it takes an incredibly strong and stoic man to be able to hold space for that woman.
Okay, so what you're saying is, so many women nowadays are strong, independent women. They don't need a man for survival, no. However, because they've become so strong and tough and chewy, it takes a man of incredible power and stoicism.
Strong and stoic man.
Indeed. Focus and energy to be a competent man for that woman.
Bruh.
That's lovely, that's cute. However, the requirements of a woman nowadays, of many women, are quite high. And even if a man can match up and meet to those high requirements, this does not mean it's good for the man. This does not mean a man struggling and trying to be this masterful dude for the modern woman or any individual woman, that it's going to be beneficial for him. You see, we get what she's saying, that, you know, women are going through so much nowadays. They've been offered and given so much. The world is very open to them now. And because of that, they have higher demands of men. The common man.
Stoic man.
Yeah? But what far too many men realize is, even if they can match up to that, even if they can be that strong, stoic dude a lot of women claim to want, it's not in a sense of respect, is it?
Respects me, woman.
It's not in a sense of appreciation of said man. It's in a weird, overinflated level of expectation. Oh, they expect you to be this. This is bare minimum as a man. You should be this. It's like, no. If as a man you understand how evolved the modern woman is, and you can accept that, then women should do that in turn. Accept the new and modern viewpoints of a lot of men.
This is trash AF.
And within the new viewpoints of a lot of men, struggling with a woman who can't reciprocate is not a struggle a lot of modern men want to even do, attempt, could even be bothered with. It's like you're a great dude for her and she's just meh for you. That's not appealing.
Not easy to connect to somebody who's hyper-vigilant, one strike and you're out, paranoid, anxious, and mistrusting. But given what is going on with men right now, can they stand up to that job? And this pain that women are going through is also going to bleed its way into the next generation of women. Because my guess is that when these women have daughters, it's going to go one of two ways.
I mean, if they have daughters, come on. If they have daughters, they got to get a man first to even get a daughter, don't they? But we get what she's saying, the next generation of the modern woman. I mean, understand this. A lot of women by 2030 are going to be single and childless. A lot of grown women by 2030. So there are things happening now today that are going to lead to the impact of single women in the future. But the sad reality is, there's not a lot the modern woman of today can do to ensure the benefit of future women. Sadly, a lot of things are too far gone already. Some say feminism is the cause. I say partially. The culture of the world as well is leading to all of this. But carry on.
Either teaching their daughters to reclaim the power of their body, which is a good thing, or projecting a lot of fear onto young women. Men are bad, men are users, men are out to get you. And that is not a good thing. Like, I talk all the time about how damaging the digital ages and apps are on sex and relationships, but the impact of it is just so much bigger than we could possibly comprehend.
And that's a big point as well, isn't it? That's a big point. How men are seen by women.
Men are bad. Users out to hit you.
And how women on the internet are teaching, educating, misleading other women. Yeah, as to the nature of men. Men say pick better, but from a lot of men's observations, women aren't doing that. And in fact, when they find better, they just ruin the better man. So again, you could be that man. It doesn't mean it's going to do any good for you. You're just going to be fodder, basically.
According to one of my guy friends, and I want to know if this is true, and I don't know if all men believe this or the men that I want to date believe this or who believes in this, but according to one of my guy friends, he said the man that you want to date, which is a traditional man, is not going to be interested in you because you are so career driven.
Indeed, indeed. Women say they want a traditional man, an old school sort of man. Okay, that sort of man is probably going to want a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home woman, won't he? So if this woman is career driven, she's all about her career, she's got to get the bag, she's a girl boss, yeah, whatever. That's all cute, that's all good, that's nice for her individually. But if this man is looking for a wife, when is she going to find the time to then learn these skills, these homely, traditional skills? Think about this. Look, a lot of women do work hard and struggle through their life to get where they are, to become these strong, independent women. In all those years, a lot of women have not focused on traditional skills. Warming up noodles because you've got an assignment, coursework to hand in by the morning, whatever. Yeah, that's not really learning traditional skills, is it? Is it? So yeah, a traditional man is not going to see a hard-working, busy, business life, highly independent woman as a wife type, stay-at-home type woman. Yeah, you can put a baby in her, tell her to stay at home, but if her drive is this girl boss, superior thing nonsense, then how can she then convert to being a mother, a stay-at-home mom? It doesn't work. It doesn't work, does it? So the sad reality is a lot of women are very successful nowadays. They're very high-earning women. It doesn't mean they can land a traditional man. They can get a man, obviously, easily. Traditional? Well put together? No, because sadly in her independence, she's lacking the skills a traditional man wants. She's too modern. Traditional men want traditional women. If she's not that, then she's not for him. Simple.
And for me, that kind of blew my mind because I was just like, well, why wouldn't the man that I want to date not want me to work? And he said, well, Bailey, the traditional man is going to want you to drop what you're doing, and he's going to want you to, nurture the family. He's going to want you to clean the house. He's going to want you to cook. He's going to want you to do this. And if you are working, you're not going to want to do all that. You're going to come home with an attitude. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to this, you're going to that. So you're not going to want to. I was like, no, I still would. He's like, no, you wouldn't.
And with everything she's saying, taking into account this man can actually afford to financially make her not have to work. Let's take that into account as well. We're not randomly saying just any dude. No, he can afford it. And let's note the point she's making as well. Men that she wants. Yeah, not just any random dude, men that she wants.
The man that I want to date not want me to work.
But it comes back to, are you going to be a good stay-at-home woman, wife, type material?
He's like, and plus, and if a guy is asking you, like, what your goals are, and you're talking about how you want to continue to go back to school and you want to do this and you want to do that, they're not hearing that you want to, they're not hearing that you want to nurture your family. And I was like, but I mean, I thought it was like a given that, hey, I'm a nurse. Of course, like, I'm a nurturer and I'm going to take care of my family. But in the...
Look, side note, she's a nurse. She's a nurse. Yeah. I don't know, for some reason, nurses are quite frisky, aren't they? Not all nurses, obviously. We're using her as an example. But yeah, it's quite common for a lot of nurses to be frisky. Some don't have time to be stay-at-home moms because they're too busy getting done by everybody and anyone. So that's another topic, but yeah, whatever.
Meantime, while, we don't have kids, is it not attractive that I have a career going for me? Or I don't know. I thought that was so odd, and I've never heard that before. Because when someone asks me like, oh, like, what are your goals? Like, of course I'd love to be a mom.
Okay.
Of course.
This question here, how many women out there, strong, independent women, feel as if they're unlovable because they're not traditional? In other words, if a man cannot see her, if men cannot see her, the men that she wants cannot see her as a mother, wifey material.
Feel incredibly unlovable.
How many of these women do you think, well, they'd feel unlovable? They'd feel like no one can love them because they don't have the qualities of a traditional woman, yeah? The point I'm making is, the first woman's talking about trauma to do with the generations of women, okay? But for a lot of women right now in their 30s, 40s and 50s who have been career focused, yet they can't seem to land a man on their level or higher, of course they would feel unlovable, of course. There's nothing wrong with her per se as a person. But the men that they want do not see them as wife material, so of course they'd feel unlovable. Of course they would feel as if no one wants them. Again, not because they're bad, but because they do not fit a traditional man's requirements, his wants, his standards. Now, is he, as a man, being too entitled, expecting more from women than they actually give? I don't think so. Because for all the skills women acquire in being independent, they lack so many when it comes to being a housewife.
I'd love to take care of my family, of course. But aren't they asking me, like, what my current goals are? Like, I didn't know they were talking about, like, the future.
Why not?
I'm talking about, like, right now. Like, I'm talking about how I want to, like, be the best nurse. And I want to be able to take care of people, like, efficiently and quickly. And I want to be able to be the, like, person that people turn to and know that, like, I'm that person that is going to get it done and I'm going to take care of them.
Okay.
Is that not also saying, like, that I'm a nurturer?
No offense, lovely woman. It sounds like you want a dink relationship, D-I-N-K, dual income, no kids. A man could possibly understand if he is the same way a modern man who doesn't want kids, likes making money and wants to have a woman around him. Yeah, that would work in that case. A lot of people are dinks now. Dual income, no kids. A lot of people don't want kids and they want that sort of life and relationship. However, if you're a woman who wants kids in the future, then as a man, he's going to be thinking about the future. So what sort of woman you are now could determine the sort of mother you could be to his kids. So if you want the dink sort of life, you have to sort of let men know that's what you want. You're not a traditional woman. You're never going to be. There are men out there that want that as well. However, you cannot go to traditional men and expect them not to want traditional vibes from their woman. That does not work. If you're a modern woman, just be it. It's what you are.
That, of course, I would take care of my family. I don't know. That kind of, like, threw me because he was saying, well, Bailey, when you get pregnant and you have kids, like, why would you try to work?
Exactly.
I'm like, well, I want to maintain my skills. Like, I worked so hard to get here. And of course, my family would be my number one priority. But, like, what about when all the kids are out of the nest? Like, what am I going to do then? Like, for me, it gives me purpose as a nurse to take care of others. Like, I love that. I love doing what I do. Yeah, it's stressful, but gosh, I love it. Like, does the type of man I want really not want me doing that?
If it's the man that you want, the type of men that you want, just remember, they have the choice and option to not want you. They fit your standards and wants and needs, but do you fit theirs? Do you fit theirs?
Here's something that I don't see anyone talking about, and it's the female loneliness epidemic.
Okay.
I just turned 23 and I am officially done with looking for new friends because nowadays girls are fucking impossible to make friends with. Before you call me a pick me, hear me out. In my experience, young women today do not know what it means to be a friend. They expect everyone, including other women, to chase them the same way men chase them romantically.
Interesting. This little spin twist here I think is very interesting.
The female loneliness epidemic.
Now she's talking about the female loneliness epidemic from a friend perspective. But notice the beautiful point that even amongst each other, they still have this inflated ego and entitlement, an expectation to still be chased, pursued and hunted for you as a person to put the effort in, and they don't even really care that much.
Just like a woman.
You do all the work. You jump through hoops, this and that, blah, 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 waffle. We get it. We understand. But it's interesting how they do it to each other. Yes, as men, we can make 1,000,001 points. But when women do it to each other as well, you sort of question it like, wait a second. This goes beyond just a gender thing. No. This is more how individuals within certain genders act and expect others to act towards them. In this case, the loneliness epidemic, because a lot of women just aren't nice to each other, are they? Yeah, a lot of them are backstabby, sleeping with each other's boyfriends, knocking each other down for silly things, like fashion and makeup, whatever, group chats, basically just dragging and roasting other women for things others may think as insignificant, yeah? So with them dealing with this amongst themselves, how do they expect men to react? We're not blind. Now we see it too, but it just proves a point when they do it to each other as well, doesn't it?
It's always me texting first. It's always me making plans. It's always me arranging reservations to make hangouts happen. Only to be told the day of that, like, oh, something came up, / they straight up admit that they forgot. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, girl.
They don't care.
And their I'm so sorries are never followed up by, let me make it up to you. How about we do this or this instead? It's always just, I'm so sorry, blank. All these girls want to do is just be Instagram mutuals. They want to like your posts, they want you to like theirs, they want to swipe up on your story. They want like little crumbs of your attention, but they are not actually looking for like a real life friend with like substance and value. And I don't know if any of you have ever used Bumble BFF, but like don't. It is a bigger waste of time than like actual dating apps for like meeting men.
And you see, this is my point. We can talk all day long about how trash dating apps are and this and that. However, how is it still happening amongst friends? I mean, these are just friends. One would not expect women to be flaky and ghost each other over friendship. No, that's something that only happens between men and women in dating. Yeah? See where I'm going? In other words, there's only so much men can be blamed for how trash modern dating is. We understand it. We understand a lot of men are bad. We know that. However, the balance is, a lot of men know that there aren't so many great women out there. Most women are not great women. Most of them are not. A small amount are. But the fact is, you'll end up dealing with the majority to find the small few that actually are decent and worth your time. Some could say the rest are just spinsters. Who knows?
And I've had a handful of bad experiences on there, but I'll just tell you about like the two most recent ones. So it's this girl, we match, we talk a little bit on Instagram. I see we have a couple like hobbies in common. It's going well. We arranged to meet for a drink. And nice. So we go, we have a drink together. It was like, I think like after work for me. So I was like really tired. It was only like 2 hours and then we went home. We both agreed that it like went really well, and I was convinced that we were going to see each other again. I had to chase this girl for months to meet up again. And it wasn't me not getting the hint, mind you, because she was still texting me every day. She's like, I want to see you so bad. I want to see you so bad. But something keeps coming up. Oh my God.
Bullshit. Wow. It sounds like as a woman, she friend-zoned you. Even though, I mean, you are friends anyway. She friend-zoned you. Meaning, she's having you chasing her, scaling brick walls, steel fences, to get her attention. And she's keeping you in her orbit, just circling around her, hoping to get close to her. Interesting. They're doing it to their friends now. My God, that's sad.
In college, it's so busy, blah, blah, blah. And like at the time I was working part-time, so like I objectively had like more free time than her. So whatever. Okay, sure. I kept like sending her like invites to like different events, like ads I see on Instagram, like blank event on this date at this time. And it was always like, oh, I can't. Oh, this, oh, that. I'm sorry, I've got this going on, blah, blah, blah. Never offering like anything on her end. I remember the month of March rolled around and she goes, okay, girl, I'm just going to be straight up with you. I cannot meet you all month in March because it's exam season, okay? And I just stopped trying. I waited for her to send me something, offer me anything, make any sort of plans. And she just never did. And I just stopped like replying to her, like sending me random reels and like random bullshit. So this was girl number one. Now girl number two, it was a similar situation. They were both happening at the same time. It's this girl, same thing. We match, super good chemistry through text. Like we're just like laughing, you know, sending each other voice memos. We have so much in common. We agree on so many topics. We're just vibing. I'm like, oh my God, I really see like a really good friendship with this person. I end up finally meeting her for the first time, at the club. Cause like I was, convoluted story, but I ended up like at the club with this guy I was seeing at the time, and she was there, and we just like danced for 5 minutes, and then she was like, oh girl, I gotta go, I'll be right back. Didn't come back.
She friend bombed you. It's like love bombing, but you do it to your friends, basically. Yeah, that's what she did. No offense to this lovely woman, but you could be gullible. They can perhaps sense that on you, your gullibility, and they just use you for it, sadly.
And I ended up like leaving with the guy like an hour later. Anyway, we get back to texting. I'm like, when can we hang out like properly? Like, you know, like face to face during the daytime so we can like talk, you know? She's like, girl, definitely not this month because it's Ramadan. I'm thinking to myself, like, as far as I'm aware, during Ramadan, you are allowed to go outside, you know? Like Muslims during Ramadan, they go to work, they go to school, they do stuff. You know, we don't have to go to a restaurant or anything. Like, we can just, like, take a walk in the park.
Take the hint. She doesn't want to hang out with you. Now, this is a friend situation. This is what dating men go through on a regular basis. So you'd think certain things would be different, wouldn't you? No. A lot of things are still the same. Still exactly the same.
It's not that serious. But I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna argue with you about religion. Over the course of the month, I see her hanging out with other people though, like on her story.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm not a priority, you know, like we don't know each other that well, sure. But eventually I confront her. I'm a little bit like, oh, I thought you were not doing anything. You were not allowed to do anything this month. She's like, first of all, mind your business. Half of the posts I put up are like throwbacks, so they're not current. And the other half is me and my sister. So like, if you don't know any better, like, close your mouth.
Damn. And she did. She told you, didn't she? The overall point I want to make here is the attitude. We as men make these points and complain about the attitude of modern women constantly. But it's when we step back, you see, this attitude isn't like just for us as men.
Female loneliness epidemic.
No. Interestingly enough, a lot of women have this attitude with each other. A sort of cattiness. It's venom, as I like to call it. So whereas a lot of men can see that a lot of women have changed, the modern woman is, she's quite tough and chewy, isn't she? Yeah. But we're not the only ones who realise it from a dating perspective. Even amongst themselves in friend groups, friendships, they're doing it to each other. Damn. So it's not even really a male-female thing? Okay.
I'm like, okay, no problem. Ramadan ends, April rolls around, and guess what? Never hear from her ever again.
I think I want to stay single forever.
Why?
And I know that everyone always says this once they've like stopped seeing someone or come out of a relationship or whatever, but honestly, I really just think I'm going to be better off on my own. Because the older you get, the worse it gets. Everybody's just so strange. It's too much stress. You have to worry if they're talking to an ex, you have to worry if they're talking to an old talking stage, you have to worry about if they're talking to someone new, you have to worry about if they go out and they're cheating on you, and
You know, this is why a lot of people say, for a lot of women to get married when they're younger, to settle down when they're younger, because by the time they get to this age,
Cruel Max leftover.
grown millennial age, it's too late. They've missed the boat. Still men about, obviously. But unless she's been married and had kids, this is when women fall into the spinster era of their life.
Single forever.
Not that she can't still get married, of course she can still get married. But the options of men available to her have fallen off a cliff. Because a lot of those men, traditional men, decent men, good men, they would have either settled down or given up at that point as well. So a lot of women in this age bracket, the 30, 40, 50 age bracket, do feel unlovable. Not because they can't be loved, but because the men that could and would have loved them, they've either aged out of dating, they no longer care, or they found someone. So because of that, there are so many women out there just broken, tired, disappointed in dating, realizing they may never find a decent man.
Single forever.
And the age-old question is, she may find him, but who says he wants her in this period of her life? Maybe 10 years ago. But now, possibly the wrong phrase to use, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks, can you? Can you? That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just using an example. You get the point.
I don't have the energy for it anymore. I'm honestly so drained. I really cannot be bothered. People just want you for sex. They don't actually have feelings for you. You just, you know, convenient when they feel lonely, when they need someone to talk to, when they want someone to sleep with. People like to keep things hush-hush, don't want to post it on social media. You have to decide whether someone genuinely likes a private life or whether they want to keep you a secret because they don't want other people to know, whether they're taking it slow or whether they don't actually like you, or whether they're taking it too fast and they're actually love bombing you and they're just doing it to piss someone off. If they're posting you all over social media, they're doing it to piss someone off. There's too many questions and I just give up.
Oh, so easily?
I really, really, really give up.
Sadly, for a lot of women, they do give up when they realise it's too late. Time's gone, opportunities missed, and no man will ever see you the same again. Sadly, the world is yours. Have a nice day.
Men are bad. Users right to hit you. The female loneliness epidemic. Single